The concept of grace and peace in friendship and connections in teaching in the classroom is important to me. It has absolutely nothing to do with music, but it has everything to do with our interactions that we're going to have the whole year. When I was in 4th grade, I was playing with my friend Paul on a parking lot, and we were throwing this toy back and forth to each other. And we would throw a little bit harder, and we would get a little further apart, and we'd see if we could still catch it and keep it off the ground. And one time I threw it and Paul missed it, and it hit the car behind him and got this big scratch in the side door. And it was even worse because it was his dad's car, and I remember saying, "Paul, is your dad gonna notice?" And he said, "I don't know." And then behind me I heard a voice, and the voice said, "Notice what?" And it was Paul's dad. And I turned around and I was like, "Oh my gosh, Mr. Boothroyd, I'm so sorry. I scratched your car. I was really irresponsible. I shouldn't have been doing that. I'll pay for it. I'll work it off." And his response, okay, this is over 20 years ago, his response made a difference in my classroom today. He said, "Joe, it's just stuff. It's just a car. Thank you for taking responsibility, but I forgive you." And that was so powerful for me, guys. It was the first time that I really breathed in a concept that I use in my classroom every day. And I encourage the kids to really soak it in, and it's called grace. It means you treat people better than they deserve to be treated when they mess up. What I did today to be able to push this concept in my classrooms, I had the kids split up into 2 groups. The first group got a sheet that had 3 characters on it, and I just made up some backstories that reflected the backstories of my kids, okay? My school is mostly Black and Hispanic, with a little mixed in there, and so the characters reflect that on the worksheet, which I think is really important. The first group, I had just kind of color in and bring the characters to life. You know, have them reflect how they look, have them reflect their friends. And the second group would sit with me, and I went through 3 different stories of classroom, relational, friendship tension that the kids have experienced or are going to experience this year. And we went through responses. Which response reflects the most grace and peace? Which response shows that people are more important than stuff? Which response empowers people to be courageous and say, "No, we're not going to talk about other people that way"? So my hope is in this classroom that kids in my music class are not just kind, not just responsible, not just respectful, but gracious. And they bring the peace that comes with that into their classrooms, into their friendships, into their families, and into their future. You should check out DanaClarkColors.com. She has some beautiful illustrations that you can use if you teach in a multicultural setting that might reflect how your students look. Crayola has a great marker pack of multi-skin tone colors that your kids can use, which is also fantastic.